Hey everyone, welcome to the
Who Cares podcast.
I'm Jello.
I'm Cookie.
Hey, it's Eshi.
Since it's Love Month, our topic for today is all about love and relationships.
Very timely.
Yes, makarelate ka,
Very,
friend.
Happy Valentine's Day. Is that a happy day?
It's a happy day, but I'd like to skip February if possible. No, just kidding. No, it's Love Month and there are different kinds of love, right? And I think love and relationship is something that we would like to talk about, something that we can share to everyone who's listening, because Eshi here is married. Jello is in a relationship. He has a partner. And very exciting. I'm single, but I've been in a few relationships as well. So I think I can give my points of view in this topic. So yeah, first, Mari Eshi, can you tell us like how long you've been married first?
My love, that's 6 years married, 10 years in a relationship, and my first boyfriend.
Oh, wow.
And my last. Oh my God.
I will walk out
I'm
na
so
lang talaga.
proud.
I would like to walk out from this celebration. No, just kidding. Wow. Very happy for you, Maddie. Congratulations.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks,
I think
Maddie.
they celebrated their 6th year, right?
Yeah,
December.
not last year. Yeah,
Last year.
August of last year, we did our 6th. So we're turning 7 years this year.
Yay, wow.
Okay, how about you, friend? How long have you been in a relationship?
This year, 10 years. Yeah, it's
Talo ka.
our
I would
10th
like to
year.
walk out again. Ang happy nila, Lord.
How about you, Maddie?
Yes.
How long have you been single? Ay, sorry lang. No, Maddie, not being single, pero it's only if you want to share.
Yes.
And I'm an extrovert. It comes out naturally. We overshare. So my first relationship was, I think, 7 years. I got engaged in that one. Second one was 6 years. I also got engaged in that one.
Wow.
But
It's a hobby.
at the end of it all, it's important that you love yourself first. So
Yes.
I think that's one of the healthiest relationships that I've had. The relationship with myself.
So good.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyways, speaking of healthy relationships, I want to hear being in a really long-term relationship, and you, friend, as well, how do you maintain, or like for you, what's the significance of being in a healthy relationship?
The significance of being in a healthy relationship, its significance is very significant.
Very nice.
How so?
Very insightful.
Thank you.
Oh my God. I'm so proud of that answer.
It's super important to keep our relationship in a healthy status. Grabe. Kailan kaya ako magme-make sense sa topic na ito? No, I think, sino nga kumanta? Who is this? Love is a verb. John Mayer. Thanks, love. So, according to John Mayer, love is a verb. So, I think you take action in everything and it's a choice. So, I don't think there is a perfect relationship. I think there will always be highs and lows. It's a decision you have to make every day. And it's a conscious decision of making a choice of what you want to do together. Although there are instances where keeping a relationship healthy means allowing each other to grow separately, pero you always have to make it to a point na in a healthy relationship you have a goal that you want to achieve as a in partnership as well, like as a couple. So there are a few other things. Marriage, I'm going to talk about marriage because the biggest takeaway that I have from my father-in-law, who's already passed away a year, the same year we got married. And I just remembered what he said. He said, marriage is a partnership of two great forgivers. Some forgiveness is also given in a different form, pero there will always be, as I said, highs and lows. And if you choose to, work things out and compromise, because as I said, there's no perfect relationship. So it will always work out in one way or another, so long as you're in good communication, so long as you two have agreed into what needs to be done or what not. So yeah, I think that's one. A strong faith is also one that has kept us going. And I think I'll put faith first, and then forgiveness, and then communication. That's like top 3 that I can share in how so far we have kept it healthy. Apart from me being perfect.
Wow. That's the most important takeaway.
Yes. What about you, Jel?
Pero bitaw, seriously, sa how to keep a healthy relationship. As what you said, Maddie, there is no such thing as a perfect relationship, even if you think you're perfect, right? Pero bitaw, I think to have a healthy relationship, since wala man gyud tay reference book for it, no, for us to refer, pero from personal point of view, I think having a healthy relationship means know how to compromise, because any relationship, you should know how to compromise, because you are two different being that is into that kind of relationship wherein daghan kay mo og differences, right? So you really know how to compromise, because I believe na dili lang ang love ang isa sa makapa stay together sa isa ka relationship. It should have respect, trust, and compromise, and you should really work hard on it. Kay, as you said, diba, it's a choice. Because you can always when the time comes na grabe ang experience ninyo, you could always choose to leave, diba? But you choose to stay because you want it to work. You want to grow together, because, well, as I've said sa ato ang mga other episodes, being in a relationship, whether it's intimate, friendly, or whatnot, it should really bring out the best in you. It should complement each other, mangyo dapat, diba? Dili lang siya pwede nga kanang isa lang ang mag-benefit and the other one suffers. So tama kay itong naagito mo yung common goal. Ang faith is really important, diba? Kay dili yata mag-last ang isa ka relationship kung apart from love ba, nga walay respect gani. Kay diba kanang kay how can you be in a relationship nga wala man may respect sa each other? So mura lang na siya napugos ka sa ing ato. So agree kay ko sa imong mga giingon na kanang diba you should kanang to stay in a healthy relationship na amoy separate na activity together. I mean separate activity, kanang ma-explore ninyo ang inyong selves ba, no? Na kanang dili lang man good necessarily na the two of you will always be together all the time. 'Di ba? Kay murag ma-burn out man pud good. So 'di ba dapat napud mo kanang mugawas mo sa inyong comfort zones, 'di ba? Nga na-explore pod ninyo ang mga other possibilities. Kay
That's
at the end
true.
of the day, magkita manghihapon mo, 'di ba? And talk about what happened or what transpired on your day or your week or a month, even when you're in an LDR or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's one of the biggest achievements sa couples na I look up to. Katong they allow the other person to dream, not just within the relationship, but to succeed in other things, and they are there to support, and vice versa.
Yeah.
It's such a big thing, no? Pag you allow it a healthy relationship like that.
Yeah, because I believe na kanang kung naay dream ang imong partner, dapat 110% you should really support him or her. Kay murag isa man na sa imong, di ba, murag role as
yes.
a partner, di ba? Kay kanang diha man po siya magkuha o katong strength and encouragement, di ba, apart from sa iyahang mga circle of friends niya, ang iyahang partner man pud gid ang mag-push sa iyaha to his or her own limits,
Yes.
di ba, to reach that kind of whatever dream he has.
Because sometimes we think dapat together lang kita, dapat we are in the same in everything, in one
Yeah.
vision and like that. So
Because I think to add ba na murag by doing separate activities, murag mas mailhani mo imong sarili and mas mag-grow pod ka sa person, tapos mas maging better ka as a partner, 'di ba? Kay murag okay, murag kay para sa ako amang good, no, ang learning, ang process of knowing oneself is it only ends when we are 6 feet below the ground. So it should never stop. We should never stop knowing and learning sa ato ang mga capabilities, sa ato ang mga limits. Kay with that mampod, it will help us grow pagyud, 'di ba, to become a better person.
I think for me as a single person, but with, my previous relationships, one of the things that I really learned, as I matured in a relationship is you can never depend your happiness on that, on the other person. You can never depend your, how do I say that, being whole to that person, because that kind of love, that kind of feeling, being whole, being like overall happy, for me is through faith. One of the things that what do you call that, made me, I think, immature in my previous relationships was I always seek happiness from my partner. Like, I'm not happy if you're not gonna do this, blah, blah, blah. You have to be happy first as an individual so that you can also share that happiness with the other person. So, relationships are two people, but at the end of the day, you're also individuals. So you have to make sure na as an individual, you also are happy on your own, if that makes sense. Because if it becomes toxic if you always seek your happiness in your partner. So another thing that I learned in my faith, especially in church, is we think that if we get, I haven't been married, by the way, but this is one of the things that I picked up and really, stuck with me. One of the mistakes now in marriage is you go into marriage because you feel that it will complete you, which is a wrong thinking. Because if you seek that feeling of being complete from your partner, it's not going to really last, if that makes sense, because only God can complete us. That's what I really believe. So before going into, like, in any relationship, I think it would be best to, have a good relationship with yourself, have a good relationship with your creator, and then from there you can pass on whatever is overflowing in you, may it be happiness, may it be feeling complete, to the other person. So that for me is, the importance of being in a healthy relationship. Not really depending your happiness on external things or on the other person. You need to be happy really inside and then, pass it on to others.
True.
Oh, diba?
True, Maddie, because
Perfect.
you cannot pour from an empty cup. So if you are not happy on your own, how could you be providing happiness or be happy in a relationship? So with what you said about, I remembered about marriage lang, not to listeners who are married as well. Sometimes when we get into like marriage, we discover a few things now when you were on a relationship was different, and then you discover different things with your husband, with your wife, as you move along in your journey in your marriage. So you really cannot change the person. You cannot, no matter it, you can try, and it might work for a month, for a week, of how you want your spouse to be. Pero it's only really by prayer. It's the only thing that he really needs to do it on his own. And it is only by prayer that you can really, that's the only thing that you can parang lean into. Pwede mo siyang ipa-therapy, pwede mo siyang go with a group of married couples and all, pero he really needs to do it on his own. So the one thing that I wanted to share is there is a book called The Power of a Praying Wife. So it's really prayer. That's the strongest weapon that you can have when you're in a marriage, and even in a relationship. So yeah.
To add ba, murag, na-remember pa na ako nga, di ba, when everything daw fails, all you need to do is kneel. So, ito siya na, di ba, when wala na jud kayo wala na kayo anywhere ba, murag wala na kayo makita nga kuan. So you really have to pray and ask God for guidance. Siya man gid ang infinite and the all-knowing na Ginoo. So pila naman ang ato ang mga nahibaw-an, di ba? So i-depend na to sa iya, because para mag-guide ta niya to a better kind of relationship that we want. Okay.
Exactly.
As I've said sa kanang previously nga ganing ang happiness should really start from within. Nang tama jud kayo to nga kanang murag dili gud nimo ma-force ang isa ka person to change, kay when that happens it will backfire on you. Kay murag ikaw man ang iyahang, 'di ba, kung when mag-fail siya, murag ikaw man gud ang dahilan nganong giusab na ako to, 'di ba? Kay pero kung if it comes from himself nga mag-change siya, wala siya kailangan regret, wala siya sisihon. It's because ang pagbago niya, it came from within, which is mao man gid ang dapat unta, 'di ba? Kung if we wanted a genuine nga kanang change good, it will always come from within. It will never work out for a long term kung it comes from outside na factors, 'di ba?
Exactly. And I think it's a common thing wherein, we joke about it, but it's true. If someone is in a healthy relationship, they're glowing, right? If they are in, the right person or something like that. Because again, a healthy relationship impacts everything. May it be your physical health, your mental health, and of course, your personal growth. Because again, when you have a really supportive partner, supportive does not mean that, he says yes to everything, but he's really someone who challenges you with, your decisions in life, blah, blah, blah. So there. The next one, I think this is one of the things that, it's quite common nowadays. It wasn't common before. If you can remember, like I think the couples before don't know about this, but this is one of the things that may cause a little friction in a relationship. This is what we call love languages, right? So we have 5 love languages, which is words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. So let's not really dive deep, but talk about love languages, especially with our in our relationship and married. From a marriage perspective. So, Mari, what's your love language and how did you discover the importance of knowing your partner or your husband's love language?
So this was discussed during counseling before you actually get married. So very, very fortunate to have pastors who are able to counsel us and, let us know about these love languages. We somehow kind of, being in a 10-year relationship before we got married, we kind of already know how we work together as a partner, as a couple. But learning about these things makes you more conscious, makes you more aware on how to vibe with your partner. So if I can have all 5, thank you. Thank you very much. One thing to remember, or one thing to take note of about love languages is what your love language is doesn't mean that it's the love language that that your spouse would want to receive. So for example, my love language is all 5. Joke lang.
I think we have a little bit of all 5, but there's parang one strong love language talaga.
My love language is receiving gifts and quality time. My spouse's love language is acts of service and diba? Nakikinig si Noel. So sana tama ang sinasabi ko. Quality time as well. So acts of service for sure. He's not super impressed whenever I give gifts, although he likes. Pero whenever I do little things like a massage after driving, massaging his feet or cooking, because it's not my love language. So it's an extra mile whenever I do cooking. It's not my love language. No, so he appreciates it kasi it's his love language. So, and then of course, physical touch naman siguro. So yun. So I think just be mindful of that na if ako, I like to give gifts, hindi ibig sabihin na that's because mo siya ang akong love language, ganahan siya. So, si Noel, ganahan siya acts of service. So, mo to ang dapat na ako ihatag siya. And that's a true meaning of parang extending love, di ba? Parang it's not to your own comfort. Parang, I will give this because mo man akong ganahan. So, lahi siya. Lahi ang iyang kanang way. So, yeah, those are our love languages, and being conscious about it makes the world a better place. Kasi pag makasala ko, ooh, you want back massage, you want head massage. How
about you, friend?
When did you discover these love languages?
Kana yatang sa conversation with friends, di ba? Oh, mo din ang tawag, ana. So, nakaano ko, okay, ana. So, because for me, ang love language mo sa ako is kanang quality time, acts of service, kanang I love to cook. I love to cook for my family, to my friends, my loved ones, ana. Tapos, physical touch pod na syempre ganahan po kay kog receiving gifts, no? Kay isa pod na sa all 5 na lang pod. Ganun, dili lang ikaw gani all 5 pod. Pero actually bitaw nung it's very ideal na kanang maka-receive ta aning 5 nga love languages ba. No, syempre words of affirmation because we wanted to kanang di ba kanang i-affirm ang ato ang existence, di ba, through words nga kanang ang acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time and physical touch. But sa imong giingon murag dili pud lagi siya necessarily na kanang mao pud gito ang gina-expect expect pud nimo from your partner, from your husband or wife, di ba? Oh nga kay dili day. So that's what mo ganito ang giingon kanina ba nga kanang it's all about compromise good. Di ba? Kay dili gid siya necessarily na kanang murag i-assume na to nga kanang kung unsa nga to ang gusto mo pud ang gusto sa imong partner, di ba? Or sa imong husband or wife. So through time makuan man gud nimo siya kanang you will know how to navigate ba no your journey in your relationship na kanang okay dili din ako ni siya pwede nga ipugos nga ani kay dili man ni siya, di ba? Murag mailhan man nimo siya through time nga kanang ang iya ding mas gusto ani day kay not all partners man pud god or your husband and wife kanang very vocal on what they want. Diba? Some people, you have to read them between their actions, between their kanang simple na kanang mga gestures. Kay we are not born the same and we are not raised in the same environment. So, naay mga tao na very kanang hard to ganing for them to explain themselves because of whatever experiences they had in their childhood. Parehas magud ta nga kanang extroverted. So, I think I believe
talaga?
I know how to dili kayo halata lang no. Pero
Medyo
pero kanang we know how to explain ourselves or kanang how to express ourselves what we want and so napoy other people na kanang murag we should understand na there are certain people na they are not really into like that, diba? So you should know how to read good. More important, kabalo lang pud ka kung unsa pud ang imong gusto. Murag if ever man ma-explain pud nimo or ay dili ko gusto ging ana. Di ba kay maka-disappoint pud ba ya nga kanang murag gitagaan ka tapos murag ungrateful ka kaayo ba? It's not that you are ungrateful pero dili lang gid pud siya ang imuhang, di ba? Kanang murag
Grateful yun siya.
ungrateful na lang. Pero dili mo gud kay nimo ma-appreciate ba. Sometimes man gud di ba murag it's because wala kay mo nagkasinabot pero eventually through time masabtan naman gud na ninyo, di ba? Nga kanang so kato dapat lang gud murag maging mindful pud ka sa imong what you say to your partner, what you do kay kadto, di ba? As you go along on this journey that you've taken, murag mas mailhan man nimo siya along the way. Dili man gud dayon siya nga murag sili nga muhalang dayon ba. Diba nga may man ang sili pagkaon ni mo halang dayon, diba? So kana siya murag kanang inanay siya ba hinay-hinay siya na mag-dig deeper man mo ana man na siya.
And if manhid ka with all these love languages and di ka makapansin and read between the lines, then it all boils down to communication.
Yeah.
So for example, receiving gifts gud ang imong gusto ni imong partner kay pabungol-bungol siya Valentine's na wala pa gid ko niya gi-ask og date, wala pa gid siya naghatag og flowers, then say it. I like receiving flowers.
Yeah, diba?
Just it's all about communication.
Yeah.
Kung gihatagan ka niya og gift niya pangit ang bag, next time if you're buying me a bag, tell me, I will choose. Ganon.
Or uban ako.
Yes.
Diba?
So we can we
Yeah.
can make this work, my love. Ganon. So,
Pero that's perfectly true ba? Kaya I think daghan kayog mga relationship na nadaot tungod sa kanang mag-assume ang good.
oh yes.
Diba? Mag-assume na mo man din imong gusto tapos gitagaan ka og ingato lahi no nasuko ka. It's because wala ka balo imong partner nga mao din na imong gusto ko. Gusto din nimo cash pero ang gihatag sa imong partner wallet. Di mo na ko gusto wallet, gusto na ko cash. So ingnon nimo imong partner kay murag nahitabo man gud sala
pera
mo
po
sa imong
ako.
partner.
na mo compare.
Mukhang pera dahil ka. So, pero bitaw seriously, di ba? Murag ka nang daghan na og ka ng mga na klaseng relationship magkagubot kay because nag-assume ta nga mao ni ang iyang gusto tapos dili day mao ana ba? So murag tama kay to nga it will boil down to communication na gyud, di ba? Nga kanang if you know what you want, then imong partner wala ka balo kung sa imong gusto, tell him or her nga mao ni akong gusto nga madawat. Ayaw lang ko tagaay katong bag kay di ko ganan sa color, dili ko ana lang gud. I mean but you have to tell them kana pong tinarong put kay bisig magpasuko pa gad ending nag-away na hinuon mo, di ba? Kay murag murag ikaw nagigitagaan dili po, di ba? Murag I'm sure maano man gyud na masabtan man gyud na nila, di ba?
Or again, back to compromise. So that's communication, di ba? Wala nimo na communicate properly what you want because the other partner cannot read between the lines. Amang siya bungol, buta, bakol, ana. So the other is some people siguro baby boomer raised sila by parents but na baby boomers. Like my parents, they're not very in words of affirmation. They're not I love you anak. They're not like that. So when I grew up, ako lang ang nagdevelop na I know how to say I love you to people. So what if your partner is like that? Dili siya vocal, dili siya poetic, dili siya ano. Pero dili po nimo na ma-force siya nga, I want you to write poems for me. I want you to write love letters for me. Di sa kaka-force. So you have to compromise na this is his way of parang showing love.
Diba?
So you also have to meet halfway po, diba?
Kay basig ato ang love niya, ang showing of love niya sa imo ato kay kanang siya ang mamilo sa imong mga gamit.
Oh, di ba siya naglabas
Tulong po talaga ang gusto namin.
Magluto di ay siya.
Back to cookie. How about you, Marie?
For me, I'm so easily deceived. No, just kidding. But my love language, the very first, and I think the only one, is really words of affirmation. So, madali po talaga ako maloko. Anyone who's good with words. But yeah, words of affirmation is very complicated because you can either, like hurt me or love bomb me with your words. So, what I'm looking for, because with, my previous relationships, I was very, how do I say that? Like well appreciated because, it's a good thing that they know my love language. They know how to, express themselves. Same with me. But sometimes I also think that their love language is words of affirmation. So, it's different. But just like what you mentioned, like your own love language can't be. It's not really that possible that your partner will also have that kind of love language. So, one of the things that I really learned is to also learn, because we have our own love language, but we also have differences daw in showing our love. Yung parang ganon. So there's a difference, but for me, it's both.
Giving and receiving.
Exactly. And if you're not sure of what your love language is, or if this is your first time hearing about love language, then there's actually an online test that you can take to really determine your love language, because it's very important. Again, it's part of communication. If your other partner is not that good with when it comes to reading between the lines, then you can communicate your love language to that person if you're not aware. But yeah, speaking of love language and how it can cause, conflicts in a relationship, let's talk about I think this is one of my favorite topics, and I know a lot of listeners can learn from this as well. Since you both are really from, a long-term relationship, how do you resolve conflicts?
It took me a while. It took me 16 years and I've only learned today. Charla. It's always a work in progress. Communication is always a work in progress because I think I can say na alpha female ko. So sometimes ako ang gusto ang matuman, but it doesn't work that way. It takes two to tango. You have to compromise. You decided to get married. So it's union of two people, not just one. So how we resolve conflict is matulog.
Nice, very nice.
No, it's really listening to understand the other person and not listening to respond. That's what I do before. So
May nag-agree po in the background.
May nag-agree atong producer.
let me know if one of you can relate to this. Pero pag kunyari conflict in a relationship, I already have what I want in mind. So if mag-respond ka, I already have a rebuttal for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Careful.
Because ako po na person, parang I'm not easily angered. Yung parang it takes me a while para to the end of my rope gyud before I say, I'm so mad na ha. Why? Arte. I'm so mad na ha. I'm not very happy anymore ha. That's why when I come to like a sit-down conversation, I already have something to respond on every reason that you have because I know you're wrong. Pero I'm not putting myself in the situation of the other person because I already have it in mind, no? So try to listen try to listen in a manner na you would like to understand the other person rather than listening to rebut or to try to fight the person and then compromise.
Very nice,
so,
Maddie.
Try and use your ears. Sabi nga, you have 2 ears so that you can listen more than talk. Talk less and listen more. So that's one.
Grabe
I'll share
ka,
one lang. Gusto mo 5? Sorry,
Until tomorrow po talaga ang podcast namin. It's a 24-hour broadcast.
So mag-live pa after, ani. Pero very insightful to, Madi, na kanang kay for me man po, tama kay to nga, it's a work in progress nga kana ganing murag I perfectly agree nga kanang unsay tawag ana nga kana ganing mag-away murag kay mura kanang ano na kay mga assumptions sa imong kaugalingon, di ba, nga kanang murag mas even if nga kanang murag napa siya i-explain unta sa whatever things you have in mind, pero kanang murag ikaw murag ako nagitama na ni tinuod na ni mo perfect ko tama na muna ako dapat buhaton nga na gani, because we listen to respond, we don't listen to understand, no, nga kanang murag wala pud nato ginabutang ang ato ang kaugalingon sa ato ang partner shoes nga ingana po day sometimes lisod sa ilaha nga kanang murag i-express po ang ilahang selves kay for whatever reason nga kanang naapod sila yung mga excess luggage tingali sa ilahang kinabuhi na murag wala pa pud nila na let go, so that's why they have difficulty in kanang confrontations, diba? Not necessarily nga kanang violent confrontations. Kanang, when I mean, what I'm trying to say is kanang confrontation nga kanang like this one, nga kanang istoryahan ninyo.
Oh my God.
Diba? Nga kanang, I mean, kay, sometimes man good, murag, there are people na kanang ganing find it very difficult to be in a confrontational manner. Nga kanang ganing, kung istoryahan lang ninyo ang mga butang, murag sa ilaha, murag very kuan na kayo ni sa ilaha, kanang ganing murag, kanang, it takes too much from them na gani kung nanasay nga nga stage. So for me, ang resolving issues good, even if it's too small or too big, istoryahan good siya dapat, diba? Dapat you have to meet halfway good og unsa man gud ang inyong gusto, because as what you said earlier, ang relationship good is a choice man siya. So for it to grow, to prosper, to be the best that you can be, you really need to compromise, you really need to work it out, and kanang choose good nga kanang, because I want to make this work, so dapat istoryahan nato, i-resolve nato ni siya nga issue, because if not, basig it will pile up and then you'll have to go separate ways, diba? Eventually kung dili gid mo mag ano kay kuan man siya, I mean wala naman mo ang inyong mindset kay murag wavelengths ninyo wala naman mo nag-meet, diba? So it should always be like that man, nga dapat na may common goal, na separate goals, and na may common goal for your relationship kay para mag-grow lagi mo and maging successful kay eventually mo magitud na ang dapat. Hypocritical na pud kakayo no nga kanang murag nagsulod ka sa isa ka relationship nga wala kay end goal, diba? Na I mean, diba, you really want to kanang ano po, to better yourself, diba, nga to achieve whatever dreams you have, diba, by being in this kind of a relationship, diba? Kay murag kung maging stagnant ka lang man, then why be in that kind of relationship, diba?
100%. But for me, another way, it may be sad, but another way of resolving conflict is to end it. Which is true for my case. Not really for like married couples and all, because that's a lifetime commitment. But again, resolving conflict, of course, is 100% important. Just like what we stated here, you have to really listen, not to what you call talk back, but to yung parang really understand where they're coming from, which is empathy, and of course compromise. It's a relationship of two people, but there are times where in the best way, the healthiest, the best for both of you, and to really best resolve that issue is to end the relationship. If it's not that healthy, if it's already affecting your mental health, if it's already affecting your relationship towards other people, yourself, it's time to walk away. Resolving conflict also is knowing when to walk away, when to, is this worth a try? Is it time to give up? So that's another way to resolve conflict for me, which is again
the views and opinions of the host does not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the guest.
So
it's listeners. Good point, Maddie. Go carry on.
But yeah, what do you call that? You have to be aware when it's time to stop. Right? You cannot push yourself to the point where you lose yourself in the process, because once you're in that, and it happened to me, that's why I can, definitely say that it's gonna be a long and painful process. But at the end, once you find yourself back again, once you find that inner child back to you, the innocence that was stolen, and it's back, it's the best feeling of all. That's why for me, since I've been through a lot of yung parang conflicts in different relationships as well, it's so hard for me to yung parang just compromise just because I'm single, just because, I'm at the ripest age. It's hard for me to compromise my current peace, my current state, just because the situation calls it. So Yes, for me, resolving conflict is really knowing when to fight and when to walk away.
And it's still a form of love.
Exactly.
You're not parang unsa na ginakulong nimo ang person
True.
within the relationship and trying to make it work when you know it's not gonna work
Exactly.
anymore.
And again, if you're holding on to each other, even though you're not meant to be together, because I still believe in destiny, you're keeping each other from the person that you're really meant to be. So, if you are not letting go of a relationship because it's been a while, it's been 10 years, I've invested, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, it's keeping you from the right person. So learn to let go, learn to hold on. But again, you always have to prioritize yourself as well, because at the end of the day, it's going to be you.
Yes.
Yeah, and we should also remind ourselves ba na kanang sometimes people are really other people are really not meant to have a relationship. 'Di ba kaning murag sometimes murag sa society man gud murag kanang it's expected nga kanang murag sa ing-ani nga edad na kay ka relationship kay murag there's something wrong with you murag or usa ba whatever murag ing-ana ba no so murag dili nimo dapat iano imong kaugalingon sa norm sa society ba kay number one you should know yourself. Kay kung dili pa ka ready ayaw gid siya ipugos kay di ba tama tong giingon nimo friend na kanang destiny man gid gihapon ako. I still believe na kanang fate and destiny ba. So if it's really meant to be, it will be. Maskin pag naglikay-likay ka, tago ba ka sa asa, pero
I-block mo yan.
pangitaon gid ka na niya, 'di ba? Pangitaon ka na niya. So murag kato ba nga kanang having kay murag i-prepare po imong self sa into being in a relationship kay from you're single now, 'di ba? So murag mas gina-prepare ka sa Ginoo sa perfect person for you kay for sure na agad na gilaan ang Ginoo sa imuha, 'di ba? So, murag don't be afraid kung 35 na ka, 40, 50 na ka, murag usa naman ni murag ngano murag end of the world man, murag ing ana gani pero murag kato ba murag mubalik ka sa nobody should complete you. Ikaw mismo sa imong kaugalingon is more than enough for you to be happy, to be contented. Kay murag how can you be an inspiration sa other people kung sa imong kaugalingon gani dili man gani ka kabalo mag-appreciate, dili ka kabalo mag-take care, diba? So murag you can't give what you don't have, diba? So be ready lang gyud nga kanang when the perfect time comes, it will come. Diba? Kay murag i-align lang nato ang plano sa Ginoo kay ang plano sa Ginoo is always perfect gyud. Kita man gud murag ma-depress lang ta kay murag ano naman ni ana lang gani so pero don't be discouraged. Dapat gamiton nimo na siya nga motivation to better yourself and to prepare yourself for our kanang perfect relationship nga giandam na sa imo sa Ginoo or whatever plans the Lord has in store for you.
Exactly. Diba? And we're talking about love in a relationship. Sometimes it's really like romantic relationships, but you also have to understand that you have a relationship with yourself. So one of the things that I posted the other day, which really resonated to me was because it's normal if you search for love. That's a really normal feeling because I think we're made to really love. And sometimes we think that love can only be found through romantic relationships, but you can also find love, through your friends, to yourself. One of the quotes, I'll say this again, is she became the love she searched for. So you might be in yung parang single season, or it might be your destiny, but you can be happy and still be romantic even if you're alone. Take it from me, I'm an extrovert. I can't do things alone before. I need to be with someone for me to be comfortable in a in a restaurant, in a cinema, everywhere. I have to be with friends. But now that I'm single, I really experience being alone and being happy as well. So it really empowers you at the end of the day. Like when you go watch a movie alone, at first you might feel, why am I alone? But that feeling of just really getting over that, being happy in a cinema, smiling, laughing, all alone is very empowering. So once you experience that, I promise you that feeling, you'll feel unstoppable, to be honest. Like your happiness won't be limited just because you're in a relationship or not. So be happy on your own. I think that's
I'm so proud of you, Maddie.
Congrats, friend.
It's not an overnight thing. We've witnessed it. So very proud of you, Maddie, of how
Thank
far
you,
you've come.
Maddie.
Yeah, tinuod gid na nga kanang being alone doesn't mean you're lonely. Being alone means you're contented, you know how
You
to
have
enjoy
your peace,
yourself.
you have your freedom.
diba?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so for those of you out there, so don't be afraid to be alone. You just have to know yourself lang yun. Diba? And kanang know how to appreciate yourself, know how to enjoy yourself kay para kung nanatong perfect someone for you nga gi-prepare sa Ginoo, mas maging happier ka, 'di ba? Mas maging contented ka and mas maging successful ka in whatever field you are into.
Exactly. I can buy myself flowers. No, just kidding. But
Yes,
yes,
you can.
that's actually the end of our episode. I hope you learned something, from what we shared. And what you call that? Again, love and relationships this month of February. If you're single, please don't be bitter. Women's Month is next month. No, just kidding. But yeah, Mari, do you want to tell them what's next? Follow us.
What is next is sa mga mag-date karong Valentine's magbulag. No. I want to leave with a message of encouragement that marriage is a beautiful thing when it's done correctly. It's such a beautiful thing to be with a partner that is your best friend, that you can share with anything and everything, but it has to be done right. So it's better to be single than to be married to the wrong person. So don't rush into love. It happens when you're ready, when God is ready, not when you are. So it happens when it's time. So yeah, look out for our next episodes. Ang next naman is women empowerment. So, magbulag ra gyud. Charing.
Well, Bito, to all of you out there who are listening, know that you are loved, know that you are appreciated, and don't seek out love from kung dili pa nimo siya ma-experience karon, then appreciate your family, your friends, yourself, most importantly, kay that's more important, kay burag kung ma-in love ka lang man di ay sa mali nga tao or sa mali nga panahon, then maging single ka lang sa kay the perfect person will come at the right time. So don't lose hope. Just be yourself, appreciate yourself, love yourself, kay the right someone will come.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you so much to everyone who listened in up to the very end of this episode talaga. And we'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much. And as always, love and relationship is life and death. No, just kidding. Love and relationship is something that we really need to treasure, right? Maybe with a partner, with yourself. Love and relationship,
Is
single
important.
or not, but who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares?
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
See you.
See you on the
Bye.
next episode. Bye.
Bye.